When was the last time you had a craving for a particular fruit or vegetable, but you couldn't have it because it was out of season? It doesn't happen very often, right? Now imagine we're traveling back in time 2,000 years. We sit on a terrace of a stone palace, gazing out over the Mediterranean. We've come to the Isle of Capri in winter. The sea breeze is a bit chilly today, and you pull your wrap tighter as we watch our host reach for his daily delicacy, a vegetable that can't survive winter on the Isle of Capri. But he insists on having that vegetable every day, winter or summer. So to satisfy this demand, his gardeners have created a horticultural innovation, considered the first greenhouse. Our host, you see, is the Roman Emperor Tiberius. And what vegetable is so important that greenhouses had to be invented to supply him with it daily? Well, the cucumber, of course. You're listening to Plant Connection. Life today can feel overwhelming, like we've drifted away from its natural rhythm. This podcast is your space to slow down, breathe, and rediscover the peace and clarity that come from reconnecting with the natural world. I'm your host, Lisa Cutshaw. Let's reconnect, one plant at a time. Okay, I for one did not expect the cucumber to be the reason greenhouses were invented. But don't get me wrong, I do love a cold, crunchy cucumber, especially on a hot summer day like we've been having lately. So what did these greenhouses look like? Well, for starters, they didn't use glass. The Romans did know how to make glass, but they hadn't yet figured out how to make big sheets of it. Instead, they used sheets of what they called lapis specularis. It was a translucent stone that allowed light to pass through, sort of like mica. The greenhouses were called specularia because of the stone, and they were closer to what we would call a cold frame today. The cucumbers were planted in movable boxes on wheels, so they could be placed in the sun on warmer days. And when it was time to protect the plants from the cold, the wheeled carts would be moved under the specularia, so they could still get the sunlight. According to Pliny the Elder, not a day went by that Tiberius didn't have cucumbers available. Interestingly, there seems to be disagreement among historians as to what Pliny meant by a cucumber. It may not have been the domesticated cucumber commonly grown and used in salads today. Instead, it may have been a relative called snake melon or Armenian cucumber. It tastes similar to domesticated cucumber, but it's a much longer fruit with thinner skin, and it rarely has any bitterness in its flavor. Cucumbers were not just the food of emperors, though. They've been enjoyed by people for thousands of years, with the oldest known evidence of cultivation dating to roughly 3300 BCE among the Indus Valley civilization in what's now Pakistan and India. Even the Bible says that in Egypt, the Israelites had eaten cucumbers, along with fish and melons and a lot of other stuff, during their sojourn there. But the Egyptians didn't just eat cucumbers, they also used the juice to treat ailments and fermented the fruit to make an alcoholic beverage. I don't know, it sounds like some kind of trendy cocktail. I'm not big on alcohol, but I might try making some cucumber alcohol as an experiment. Could be fun. Europeans didn't lose track of the cucumber after the fall of Rome either. During the Georgian period, a cucumber could cost £1 each in England, which was a lot of money, so people who had their own garden were able to supply themselves with produce that would otherwise have been a luxury item. This time, as far as I know, we are talking about the garden cucumber we commonly grow today. It made it to North America in the 1490s with the European colonizers, and Native Americans quickly began to grow them as well. Of course, not everyone has the luxury of being able to grow cucumbers year-round in a greenhouse, so an alternative way people developed to store and enjoy the fruit was, you guessed it, pickling. Salt brine, garlic, and dill combined to make the flavor profile we still love today. The cucumbers are packed in jars or barrels with the salt, garlic, and dill and allowed to ferment. And as a side benefit, the lactobacillus bacteria involved in the fermentation actually support gut health, reduce inflammation, and support the immune system. Pickles just may be the best garnish ever invented. That's not a well-considered statement, by the way. If you know of others that would vie for the title of best garnish, let me know. There are other members of the genus Cucumis, roughly 61 species in all, and among them, believe it or not, you can count the cantaloupe and the honeydew. They are so very different, though, they may merit a separate episode. Now, if you want to grow cucumber in your own garden, you'll need a spot in full sun with some sort of structure to support the vines. Basically because if the cucumber fruits touch the ground, they get kind of a bright yellow color on that portion of it, and it doesn't ripen as well. So make sure you check under the leaves. The cukes like to hide under there. Anyway, I hope you enjoy them in your next salad or sandwich. See you outside. Thank you for joining me on this journey back to nature with Plant Connection. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to tap subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss the next episode. See you next time.